Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'll be going over the strongest and weakest legends. The weakest legends lore wise. By this I mean the actual lore abilities without balancing and cooldowns. The abilities will be counted and graded on their actual true potential. So I won't be counting the cooldowns or the nerfs or anything like that Respawn has put out, so the game is balanced. If you don't get what I mean just yet, please just stay with me for a second and you will see what I mean. Before we get started, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. On my number 16, yes, there are 16 legends. It's kind of insane. I got Fuse. Fuse is overall a legend, yes, but he barely makes the cut. He is Salvo's champion, as we saw in his trailer, where he became the oldest fighter to ever qualify to the Bone Cage Bloodsport at the age of 51. The Bloodsport took place in Salvo, where he broke the record for the most consecutive wins, with 21 straight matches, which broke the past record by 8 more wins than the last one. With all of this in mind, he is still the weakest legend in the lore and probably the game due to his abilities. His Knuckle Cluster does damage and it will cause injuries, but it won't kill most legends in his ultimate. The Mother Load also is a bit lackluster. Shooting a ring of fire that will damage legends or force them to move may sound good on paper, but when you think about it, you got people like Pathfinder, Octane, or Wraith in the game where they can easily escape. It becomes slightly useless, so that's why lore wise he is the worst legend. I know some people will say that Fuse may stand up a fight from close range, and I completely agree with that. I mean, from close range or just simply a regular old fight, I think Fuse could actually just go up a few ranks, since not many people know how to fight in an actual blood sport, and Fuse is actually quite strong for his age and his background. Some people are actually hating Fuse. I absolutely love the guy. He's really fun to play with, and he's just an overall fun character to use. But let's get straight into my number 15, which is the combat medic Lifeline. Lifeline was actually my first pick to be the worst legend in the lore due to quite a lot of factors, but Fuse does make her be a bit better teammate, or at least not the worst legend in the game. Let's get this out of the way. Lifeline can heal faster in the actual lore due to being a medic. That's a fact, or if it's not a fact, it's almost a given. Second, her drone, Doc, or whatever you want to call it, the big plate thing or whatever you want to call it, cannot fix broken bones or some more fatal or dangerous injuries. By this I mean any broken limbs, any insane blood loss, any tore ligaments or anything like that. Doc cannot fix that. Doc can fix some minor injuries like scratches or just minor blood loss. I don't know how you could think of that, but Doc will actually just help you with the minor injuries while Lifeline actually patches you up. Some people mistake that it's the other way around, where Doc heals you all the way up while Lifeline just tries to keep you alive. That's actually the complete opposite way. It can stop minor bleeding and scratches, but it can also revive people while Lifeline provides cover or heals herself up. Overall, she sounds like a good and strong character on paper, right? I thought the same, but there's one thing we are missing here, which is her ultimate. Your care package is good, but on a game where you have an announcer constantly giving information, the moment you see a blue care package drop from the skies without hearing a single comment from the announcer, you know you have a team up ahead. So the package is basically Lifeline with giving a beacon to the other squads. Her ultimate, when she drops, may give good loot, but she basically drops a beacon that people can see from miles away. Even though having a medic seems like a good idea on paper, Lifeline sure isn't the best one lore wise. Lifeline is a really strong character, don't get me wrong. In the game, she's probably one of the most annoying characters to fight against, but when you get into the lore and all that, Lifeline is not that good anymore. I mean, her abilities are good and all, but her ultimate kind of drags her down, and the fact that people mistake her ability to heal you with actually almost picking you up from the dead is actually quite a big factor in this. With that said, my number 14 will be everyone's waifu at some point. The Express Thief Loba. At first I was going to place her below Lifeline, but once I thought of it, it was quite obvious to see why Loba was better all around. Her bracelet wouldn't have a single cooldown, and being a professional thief, she would be able to hide or run away while her bracelet reaches its destination, unlike on the game where Loba walks after throwing it, which is quite dumb in my opinion. Her ultimate is also quite helpful, as having the best gear in every game will provide you with a way better chance of winning certain game. And with Loba on your team, you will be able to get as much loot as you want or need without it putting a limit on your items or weapons. As we have also seen before, her combat abilities are also quite strong and surprising to those who don't know who Loba is or just underestimate her. So overall, Lifeline is good, but Loba would probably win every single fight against her. And that's actually true. I mean, Loba is really strong. We have seen her win fights against Revenant, although not that fair, but I will get into that in a few videos. But overall, Loba is a really good character with really strong fighting capabilities. Her bracelet is a really strong ability, and her ultimate is even better when you can absolutely grab everything you want without having any limits or having it on cooldown. With that said, I have on my number 13, I have the French baguette, Watson. I know some people will hate me for this pick, but before I get flamed, let me get this straight. Watson in the game isn't the best, but she's probably one of the most frightening legends in the game due to her control of electricity. You will see why she's one of the most threatening. I mean, electricity is always like scary for some people, especially when you know that you're gonna get shocked. But the fact that she can actually make a human being explode by just touching them is insane. The amount of electricity that will be constantly flowing through you to make you explode is just I don't understand how that works. But the amount just for destroying a rock, because I actually did some research on this, just to destroy a rock like she does on the actual intro when you pick her before a game, some scientists in Asia actually tried to destroy a rock with electricity. They had around the same power, if not the same or even more power of a lightning onto the fucking rock, and it just scratched it. It didn't obliterate it like Watson does, it simply scratched it. Imagine how much electricity Watson is packing on her backpack. She's packing way more electricity on her backpack than a fucking lightning bolt. That doesn't make sense. I mean, but let me give you the reasons why she isn't the strongest legend in the lore. First of all, her kind nature could make her think twice before pulling the trigger. So, as we already know, there was some caustic and crypto things, so she may stumble a little to take that last shot that may give her the win, while caustic may take advantage of that and completely kill her. Another factor is that if you simply see an electric fence the size of your fucking body, you won't touch it or walk towards it. It's simply because you know that if you don't die after touching that, you will probably won't be walking away as easy as you came in. Even when Watson has an insane knowledge of the game and some of its fighters, it doesn't mean she is specialized in weapons or combat like the other legends. Don't get me wrong, Watson is strong and insanely strategic at times, but sadly, her kind nature and almost obvious abilities drag her down slightly. I mean, her piling is insanely good. I didn't mention it because I don't think it deserves more praise. I mean, her piling is really good. On the actual lore, it doesn't have like a limit or a cooldown or a time it works. I don't know how it works. I mean, it is infinite until she decides to just pick it up and back out. Strategy is a really big key of the Apex games. So having someone as strategic as Watson is always good, but she may drag you down when you're in the heat of a battle. She may panic a little because she isn't used to being outside, like on the field without having her fences or be able to just close down areas. That's why I'm putting her on number 13. And onto my next two legends, which are the last ones for this video. I know some people say, why do I not got the entire list here? I mean, it's 16 legends, my boy. I cannot have 16 legends in a video or it will last like 30 minutes. But on my number 12, I got the professional modder and the maker of Sheila, Rampart. Look, before you try to hate on Rampart and say why she should be lower, I have to say two words. No cooldowns. Sheila can be deployed in every fight, in every minute, in every second of an actual Apex game. Just imagine having a turret in every single fight. As well as her amped covers, or amped walls, or whatever you want to call it. They won't have a cooldown, they won't have that insane amount of time that it takes for them to be set up. They will be more than likely, just like in the trailer where we saw her take an entire gang all by herself. Where it takes almost like 2 seconds or less than that for the wall to just be completely ready to put out more damage and just cover you. Another thing is the fact that she also knows how to use light machine guns or LMGs like an expert. It gives her an advantage over some legends or almost every single one. Rampart is also insanely proficient with fighting various people at the same time, as we saw in one of her trailers. Her knowledge of weapons also seems to be quite extensive, as we see her use a G7 Scout and an RE45 with ease and be able to take out almost an entire gang single-handedly. The one thing that drags Rampart down is basically her recklessness. She sounds like a really reckless person. I mean, she can hold down a building, but she will probably more than likely be looking for a fight than just trapping up a building like Watson or Caustic. She is a defensive character that will bunker you up, but on the lore she will probably do it and just let you stay in there while she goes out and fights someone. Rampart overall is a really strong legend, don't get me wrong, but now we are actually heading into good legends material. I mean, every legend is good when you think about it. That's why they are called legends. But these legends are the ones that actually start to provide you with more things to a team, or more with a bigger probability of winning. So for example, Watson is already a legend that will give you a big probability of winning in the lore, and Rampart, basically by her voice lines, she likes to win a lot and she is very competitive, so I don't recommend you try that. And for my last character on this video, I got the adrenaline junkie himself, Octavio Silva, or Octane for short. I know that you are thinking that Octane doesn't deserve to be on top of any legends mentioned earlier, but let me explain why I put him this high up. In the lore and in the game, he isn't the strongest legend when you look at his abilities, but Octane has found a way to win the Apex game quite efficiently. It's never been said before as to what he does or figured out to win, but he wins almost every fight he gets into, and apparently he does it without sweating too much. So just imagine having Octane on your team. He is reckless. He is probably the most reckless legend out here. But his popularity went up due to his recklessness and his winning. He wins almost every fight he gets into. I mean, not on the actual game, but on the lore, he is insanely difficult to track down or kill. He has single-handedly taken squads and squads and squads by himself. I wanted to put Octane higher on the list, but once you know that Octane is probably the worst teammate you can have, he loses quite a lot of spaces on this ranking due to the high amount of risk he plays every single game. Strategy, as I said before, is key in the Apex games, and Octane can't stand still for nothing. So strategy kinda goes out the window with Octane. The Daredevil may be an amazing fighter in the games, but if he goes against a full squad of actual legends, I don't think he would leave unscathed. But here we go. That's the first, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 6 legends. There's 16, so I will have 6 legends on this video, 6 legends on the next one, and 4 legends and the best 4 legends on the last one. Don't worry, the next video will come out in probably a week or so. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I would love to hear you guys. What do you think, and where would you put the actual lore legends on a ranking? Overall, you will be surprised by the rest. And I hope to see you guys on the next one.